Today we're on the threshold of a biological revolution that's going to parallel the industrial revolution of the 18th and 19th centuries and the information technology revolution of the 20th century. We've already begun to deal with many big issues dealing with the biology of our human nature. Medical technology has come on in leaps and bounds and is treating all kinds of disorders, illnesses and diseases, cancer, heart problems and many other things. Medical technology is enabling people to live longer and healthier lives. And at the beginning of life there are many issues to do with reproductive technology like IVF, embryo experimentation, artificially created embryos, and all of this is raising questions about the use of donors and surrogates. But all of this is just the beginning for what's going to come. There are issues relating to stem cell technology, the merits of cloning, and some aspects of genetic engineering. Questions about making designer babies and how far genetic enhancements can make us taller, stronger, fitter, faster. And then there's what's called trans-kingdom or trans-species gene transfer. And the central issue there is about the appropriateness of taking genes that exist in one species, or more generally one kingdom, animal or plant, and putting them in another species or kingdom. Indeed, the whole question of species boundaries is under question. And although at the moment people are living longer, healthier lives, the overall maximum life expectancy has pretty much not changed since the biblical 70 years and 10. More people are living to that age and to 80 and 90. But then, even though they may be cured of one disease or disorder, people then insist on going on dying of something else. And so the maximum age is not really changing all that much. But people are working on this, believe you me. Telomere therapy, for instance, is aimed at investigating and manipulating the most fundamental aging mechanisms of the human body, perhaps so that there could one day be an almost unlimited extension of human life. Would you like to live to be 140 years old? Or maybe even 400 years old? And then there's another new frontier, the brain. We already modify human thought and behaviour through medication, whether it's Prozac for anxiety or lithium for bipolar disorders, antidepressants and antipsychotics. Neuroscience is one of the main areas of research at the moment, and it has great potential. And it's related to questions of artificial intelligence and robotics and nanotechnology and DNA computing. Biological computers. You know that computers essentially store their data in strings of numbers, 0 and 1, 1 and 0. Everything is reduced to that level. Well, DNA stores material essentially in a series of acids, G, A, T and C, and that's all it is, G, A, T, C, T, C, G, A, long sequences of that. And there's work now on whether that can produce biological computers, using DNA instead of silicon as the basis of a computer, which of course has the advantage that not only is it cheap and there's an unlimited supply of it, but DNA can be built into the human person as well without any problems of rejection. And in that sense we might say that the merging of people and biological machines has already begun. In fact, we are already reliant upon machines tremendously. Can you imagine being without your car, your computer or your coffee machine? Well, the issue is whether machines will eventually merge in some sense with people. Some people refer to this as transhumanism, the possibility of developing the human person in new and radical ways. So what do we say about this? Well, the first thing is that when we put them all together, all these separate technologies, we have to recognise that they are coming together in an integrated whole, and we need to see them together rather than just deal with them separately. It's very difficult to say when all of this will happen, but it has been said that there is a tendency to overestimate the speed at which things will happen, but also to underestimate the significance of them when they do. The second thing we have to do is to reflect on this biblically and theologically. What does it mean to be made in the image of God? If we consider the Old Testament material about being made in the image of God, we might conclude that this image is fixed in us, unchanging, and that the human person should be respected and not change. But if we look at the material about the image of God in the New Testament, which implies that the image of God is something a bit more dynamic, that we are to be conformed to the image of Christ, then maybe we could see ourselves as participating with God as stewards of our own nature. We might say that the former view stresses the created nature of the person and seeks to maintain and preserve that status, which is very important, while the latter view stresses the creative nature of the person that applauds the attempt to develop and enhance the human person. So this is not going to be easy. The answers have to be worked out in the context of a number of sets of tensions. The tension between understanding the image of God as past tense, a given, and as a future and dynamic thing. There's also the tension between being created and being creative. And then finally there's the tension between the way that we see divine sovereignty, God's creative activity, working with human freedom. We've got a long way to go on this. May God give us the wisdom to discern the right path.